హాయ్ ఎవ్రీవన్, అందరికీ ముందుగా నమస్కారం. నేను ఈ ఇయర్ టీఏజీసీ బోర్డు మెంబర్గా మాధవిరాణి కొనకల్లా. ఈరోజు మన నిట్ షో ఫ్రీ వర్చువల్ నిట్ షోకి మీరందరూ ఇచ్చేసినందుకు చాలా సంతోషంగా ఉంది. సో మనకి రాబోయే స్ప్రింగ్ సీజన్లో లైట్గా, స్టైల్గా, వామ్గా క్లోత్స్ కావాలి కదా. వాటిని మనమే అల్లుకొని మనమే యూజ్ చేసుకుంటే దాంట్లో ఉండే ఆనందమే ఆనందం. ఆ ఆనందాన్ని మనందరికీ అందించడానికి మన ముందు ఉన్నారు కలైవాణి గారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ. వెల్కమ్ టు కలైవాణి గారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ అండి. అండ్ మన ముందు ఇంకొకరు ఉన్నారు స్పెషల్ గెస్ట్ గా, ఈ ప్రెసిడెంట్ ఎలెక్ట్ ఉమా అవధూత గారు. హాయ్ ఉమా గారు, వెల్కమ్ టు ది సెక్షన్ అండి.
Thank you, Madhavi. Thank you for inviting me. Um, Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session. My name is Uma Avaduta, and I am the president-elect for the year 2021. So, hope you all are doing good. Mm, okay. So, this year we are celebrating ఈ సంవత్సరం మనం టీఏజీసీ సంస్థ 50th యానివర్సరీ సెలబ్రేట్ చేస్తుందండి. ఆ సందర్భంగా కంగ్రాచులేషన్స్ టు టీఏజీసీ. సో లెట్ మీ వెల్కమ్ టుడేస్ గెస్ట్ కలై కృష్ణమూర్తి గారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ కలై గారు ఫర్ జాయినింగ్ us. So she's an IT professional and also she's a board member of a non-profit organization, um, People's Impact Network. So thank you very much for joining today. Kalai garu, please take over. Thank you.
All right, Uma, thank you. Welcome all. I must thank TAGC, Venkat, Madhvi, and Uma for giving me this opportunity to come today and speak about knitting. Like Uma mentioned, I'm Kalai Krishnamurthy. I am an IT professional by trade. I live in Dallas. I have a wonderful husband and 2 daughters. I'm also the board member of a 501c nonprofit organization named People's Impact Network. I am a director of charities and education group. Our goal in People's Impact Network is to bring people together so that they can identify and develop their key areas of focus. We also help the local charity organizations by creating awareness, and we raise funds to help the community. And in People's Impact Network, there is something for everybody, and we work on a triple win concept, and which is we have various programs, and the programs are like Sari Strong, where we identified that we all wear Indian clothes. And if we want to give away or clean our closet, there was no, at least in Dallas, there was no any place to donate our Indian clothes. So what we did is we formed this group where we take the Indian clothes and then we fundraise by selling the clothes, and all the funds that are raised go towards charity. So by this, what happens is the people who clean the closet, it's a win for them. They're making space for new clothes to come in. The people who buy the clothes, a win for them. They are getting new clothes. And the funds raised go towards charity. So the win for the win for the community. So this is a triple win concept that we very proudly say. And so there is a win for everybody here. So we have other programs like PIN Education. And in that group, what we do is there are many volunteers who have myriad of skills, and they want to share their knowledge and teach and volunteer for the community and spread that knowledge. So the people with those talents come forward to teach, and people in the community register for those classes and take advantage and gain knowledge. We also have, as we are speaking, actually, there's an event going on in People's Impact Network called MSAT, which is My Seat at the Table. In that, we help the small business owners who had a very tough time during this COVID season with the business being very low, they come forward virtually. The vendors come forward and present their products online. We create a virtual shopping environment through Zoom. The technology helps make this happen. And people come and shop for those products. In that way, the vendors get to showcase the products. We also have a youth impact network, that is the youth wing, where we have high schoolers mostly. We have middle schoolers also helping out in many volunteer work. And we are an organization where we also are the PVSA award, which is the Presidential Voluntary Service Award. So we do that also. For that, the volunteers, whether they are kids or adults, have to do a certain number of hours, and they fall into the gold, silver, and bronze category. And these are some of the programs that we have. To learn more, if you're interested, please do visit People's Impact Network website. It is peoplesimpact.org. And we also have a Facebook page, People's Impact Network. And then various groups have various group pages under Facebook. You can learn more about that. That is about the People's Impact Network. I'm sure you all must be waiting to get on to the knitting part of the show. I have a small presentation here, which I would like to present for you all, which speaks a little bit about knitting. For today's agenda, I will go through a little bit of history of knitting, sources and types of yarn, benefits of knitting, and the techniques that we use in knitting. And in the end, I will also, before we begin the actual knitting process, I will showcase a few of the products that I have done, and then we will get on to knitting. So a little bit of history. There are lots and lots of literature available to tell us when knitting originated. The time period dated that I could find is that knitting originated sometime in the 11th century, and it was it originated in Egypt. And people in Egypt, the first product that they did was a sock. But back then they didn't know various techniques that could be used for sock. So the first product which they got, which they made out of fibers and yarn, was not very stretchable. So if you take the sock, it will fit just one size. But for the marketing purpose, they realized that the sock has to be expanded so that they can make one sock and fit various sizes. So then they got into exploring many other kinds of yarn. And the sources of yarn, are you seeing my presentation?
Not yet, Andy. Can you hit share screen, if you don't mind?
All right. I thought so. I apologize. How about now, Venkat?
Yeah, we can do it now. See it now. Yes.
Can see you, yeah.
Okay, what I had is, sorry. So I had the agenda, which is history of knitting, sources and types of yarn, benefits of knitting, and techniques. And then, so as they were exploring various types of yarn, they found that they could shear the fur of certain animals like sheep, goat, alpaca, rabbit. What you don't see on the screen, but I came to know is they also sheared the camel's fur. And in Canada, northern Canada, they also do take fur out of the dogs, because they are in the cold winter season. The dogs have a lot of nice fur, a certain type of dogs, and I'm not too aware of what that kind of dog is, but they are also in the category. And sheep wool or yarn, what we say, is the most common. And there are various types of yarn called mohair, cashmere, angora. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of all of these or any of these. If you're a person who is versatile and know about yarn, you will be very familiar with these names, because mohair, cashmere are quite common and quite famous yarns. They are very nice and fluffy. They make nice and fluffy products. And then the yarns are also categorized into fine, medium, long, carpet yarn. So these are some of the sources and the types of yarn. I would like to speak a little bit about the benefits of knitting. There are various benefits of knitting, but I've listed about 7 over here. Knitting helps with combating depression. The British Journal of Occupation Therapy found that about 80% of the people with depression felt happier after either crocheting or knitting. They both fall into the same category. It's also, it helps with stress management. It helps with insomnia, anxiety, memory loss. It provides confidence, and it brings the community together. It brings people together. And I have been knitting for quite some time. I crochet also, and I love yarns. And I can tell that it is very, very meditating and very calming for me. I don't have insomnia, but I have fallen asleep knitting because it is that calming for me. I also do knitting while I listen to podcasts, or while I listen to audiobooks. Also, sometimes at work, when you are not an active participant in a meeting, like an all hands meeting where you just have to listen, I find when I knit, it helps me concentrate on what is being spoken very well. Probably those who all of you who are listening to me, you will know what I'm talking only if you try out the knitting process or the crochet. It has helped me a lot, and I love knitting. It's one of my hobbies. Well, types of yarn. When we started advertising this class, we also told you to get knitting needles and yarn. And in the instructions, it was mentioned number 4 yarn. I don't know how many of you have paid attention to the number there, but the number 4 yarn is the most commonly used yarn that can be used for scarves, hats, sweaters, you name it, socks. You can do anything with number 4 yarn. The yarn is categorized between number 0 to number 7. So number 0 yarn is called the fingering yarn. It is the very fine, very thin, very fine yarn. It's also sometimes referred to as lace yarn. You will find laces on clothes like the Victorian era. If you take the dresses had collars with laces. If you have seen those pictures, those laces are made out of the number 0 yarn. They are I am sorry. They are the very fine, thin yarn. If we move a little upper, a little more thicker yarn than a lace yarn is called the super fine yarn. It is also called the sock, fingering, or baby yarn. Socks, as the name goes, you can make sock out of it. You can make baby blankets out of it. They are also I should say they are also thin. They are also very thin, actually. Little thicker than lace, but still very fine yarn. And then if you go a little more higher, a little more thicker yarn is the number 2 yarn, which is also called the fine yarn. It is used again for baby blankets, baby socks, baby clothes. And then move a little more higher with the thickness. You get something called the DK, double knitting, double knitted, light worsted yarn. and then a little, you get the drift. As you go higher in thickness, the number increases. And then you have the number 4 yarn that is, like I spoke, it's a most commonly used yarn for several projects. And then you have the bulky yarn. I very personally like bulky yarn for scarves, also for the hat. I use either 4 or 5 very commonly. And then we have the super bulky yarn that is number 6, and then the jumbo yarn that is number 7. And if you have visited Michael's or Hobby Lobby, Joanne, if you go to their yarn section, you can see this really thick yarn that you probably will not find it anywhere else. They are the jumbo yarns. And a little bit of show and tell on the products that you can make out of knitting. Not sure, let me stop sharing for a second. This is a scarf that is very easily knitted. It's a beginner scarf. Not sure if you can see it. Madhavi, can you all see it?
Yeah, Kalavani. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, so this is a very simple stitch called the pearl stitch. I will be speaking about it a little bit today, and we will also be doing a hands-on with the stitch. And the yarn is so beautiful, the colors are so beautiful, and it just gives a nice, it's a nice textured yarn, and this is number 4 yarn that I've used. So this is one. Then there is an infant hat that you can make. Again, this is, I have actually used, this is number 3 yarn, although, for babies, the fine yarns will be more nicer, but this will stay put on the baby's head. So this is one of the baby hats. This is one of the adult size hat you can knit. There are only 2 techniques, and I'll be speaking about that also, that are used in knitting. And with the 2 techniques, you can make myriad and multiple designs. This is one of the hat which uses the cable pattern. This is called the cable pattern. Then this is number 6 yarn. It is a hat. And this stitch is called the raspberry stitch. It actually looks complicated, but again, you learn in knitting only 2 basic stitches, and you'll use those stitches to knit any and every kind of yarn. To go with this hat, I made a scarf. It's nice and warm, and this yarn is a number 5 yarn. Nice and warm, and it's quite cozy when you wear it. And this is actually knitted for a friend of mine, which I will be shipping soon. I have also made sweaters. This is a crop sweater which I've made for my daughter. She goes to UT. This is the college color, and I tried to embroider the longhorn on it. I think I could have done a better job, but this was the first time I'm embroidering on a sweater. So I think it's a decent job. What do you all think, right? Okay. And then I have another sweater again. Once I knit one sweater, it became quite liking in my household and among my daughter's friends. And then there was no stopping. And this sweater, actually, if you see, are rectangle blocks. The body is a rectangle block, the hands are rectangle block. You'll just make rectangles, and then you will join them. That's why you'll have a droop shoulder. It's not, the well-fit sweaters that come about, or, if you take any apparel, you have a well-fit apparel with the armholes and stuff like that, but that's not the case, and it actually looks very beautiful, although it is all rectangle squares. So there are amazing, amazing things that you can do by just learning to, thank you, by just learning 2 stitches. You can do lots and lots of things. I'll go back to my presentation. Venkat, I'm not able to share my screen. It says the host has disabled the participant screen sharing.
Try now, Andy.
Okay, let's see. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's about the type of yarns. I've only spoken about the numbers here, but there's a tabular form where, it tells you what crochet. Actually, I should have changed this. I was doing a crochet class and the slide got just copied over. There is a knitting gauge that if I have a way to share that with you, probably I should share. There are, for every specific numbered yarn, you have a specific knitting needle that is recommended. So when you all bought the yarn, whoever will be knitting today, you all would have bought the yarn that has a label. Every ball of yarn comes with a label. And if you look closer on your ball of yarn, you will see in a very small font, there will be the number written. I asked you all to buy 4, but just in case you went and grabbed a ball of yarn from Michael's or any place, you would see it will be either 4, 5, whatever number, it will be written in small font here. And next to that, they will also give you what size of knitting needles and what size of crochet hook that you need to buy, either one of them, to work with the yarn. So that is about the numbers and the needle. The techniques that we are going to learn today, and hopefully I'll finish in time, is long tail cast on. Those are what you call the ring or the chains that you make as a foundation to the project that you'll be doing. And then the 2 techniques, the knit and the purl. They look like this, just to give you an idea. The long tail cast on looks like this. The knit stitch, or what we call in India, the Sida side of a sweater, or the right side of the sweater, is actually the knit stitch. And the wrong side of the sweater, which also actually can be a pattern, is the purl side. We call it the purl stitch. In India, we call it the ulta stitch. So this is just to give you an idea how they look. And that's about my presentation. Let's get started here. I have number, if we can put the spotlight on the camera. I have my knitting needles, and I have the ball of yarn that I will be using. And if as I'm doing, and if you're following and you have any questions, please do feel free to unmute and let me know where you are. Let me know where you're stuck, or if you have a question, I'll be more than happy to answer and help you all with it. So to begin knitting, what we do is we actually first make a slip knot. And what is a slip knot is, excuse me, it is a chain, the first chain that we make. So there are various ways to make a slip knot, and I'll teach you probably 1 or 2. You can YouTube, you can Google, you can do many resources are available nowadays for us to find what we need, right? But let me try teaching you this technique that I know, and hopefully it is easy for you. So you have the one end of the yarn, and then you have the running yarn. What you do is you make a loop, and in this loop, your short end of the yarn is towards your left side, and your long end is over that short end, and you make a loop like this. And then what you do is you take the long end, bring it from underneath the loop, and pull it. So this is how you get a loop. Now what you do is the loop should actually fall into your needle this way. This is how we do a slip knot. It's called a slip knot. So what is casting on? Casting on is the foundation chains that I will be doing, and I will show you in a little bit. That will form the foundation to any project that you do, whether it is scarves, sweaters, hat, anything. And there is various ways of casting on. I'll show you how the easiest, simplest, I don't want to use the word dirty, but the dirtiest way of doing a cast on is like this. You take the yarn and you make rings on your needle. Now, if I'm going fast, please do let me know. I'm just going to show you the various techniques, and the technique of long tail cast on, I will do it very slowly so that whoever is doing with me can follow along.
Yeah, can you go a little slow?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you got the slip knot?
First slip knot is fine, but the second one from the knot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then what you do is you take the yarn over your pointy, turn your pointy and slip onto the.
Okay, got it. Yep. Okay.
Can you show the slip knot again?
Yeah. So you take the short end of your the end of your yarn on your left, make a loop by doing this way. So the running yarn, what we call the yarn that is held onto the ball of the yarn, is called the running yarn. The running yarn is over your short end of the yarn. So you make a loop like this, easy. And then you take the running yarn, go underneath the loop and bring it out. It's like partly like how you make shoelaces, right? So this is the slip knot. You see the loop, and then you pull one end of the yarn to make it. This is a slip knot. I'll show it again because this is a foundation stitch to any project. And because it's a foundation stitch, it is very important that you get this right. So make a loop. You see the running yarn is over the short tail of the yarn. And then you can insert your finger underneath this loop. So I'm doing this. Grab the running yarn into that loop and pull through. This is one way of doing it. Another way, normally what I do is I wrap it around my two fingers and bring it through it. Okay, I'll do that again. I'll grab the yarn using my three fingers and secure it. Then I will wrap it around my pointy and then bring the running yarn through the pointy, through the loop, and do this. One more time. Either pointy or two fingers, anything. Essentially what I showed you in the first technique is the same thing followed, but on my fingers. Okay, one more time. I'm going to wrap it around my finger, and then the running yarn from the bottom, from the back side, from the bottom, I'll bring it through and then pull through. Now this is a very loose slip knot. Now to make it tighter, I pull the short end or the long end. You can adjust however you want, and then make the slip knot. Okay. So that is that, and that is one way to make this. I mean, that is a slip knot to make. And then I showed you one way to cast on rings. Is that the most easiest, the most simplest way is do this. take it around your finger, a pointy, and then bring it through into the needle. Now, when you're taking it around your pointy, you're again actually making a loop, and then you're going down beneath through your needle and bringing the chain out. So you're wrapping around, taking your needle beneath, and then bringing it out. Do you see this? So this is the most simplest, but that is not the most efficient though, efficient technique of making, of casting on. Again, if you keep doing this, it's quite a nice calming experience, quite a meditating experience to do. Keep repeating the same thing again and again. Is helps in many things. So this is one way of doing it. But what I wanted to actually show you all is the long tail cast on. Long tail cast on is very popular among the knitting community, and it's a very durable technique that many people follow. So for any project, the size of the project is actually the number of, for any knitting project, the size of the project depends on the number of rings that you cast on. Now for a number 4 yarn, a ballpark casting on for a scarf would be about 20 to 25 chains. Okay. And for the long tail cast on, you actually need to know the length of the project beforehand. So a neat technique to know that is, I will make a slip knot. And what I'll do is I'll take the long end of the yarn and I'll wrap it that many number of times. Like if I need 20 chains, then I will wrap 20 times. And for the sake of this, so a scarf essentially will need about 25 to 30. Some people will like it wide, some people like it narrow. So it depends on the taste. But a very ballpark number is what I mentioned, which is 25. For the sake of demonstration for today's class, I will just wrap 12 to 13 so that we can get the project going faster.
So we should wrap now. Like I was doing the other one which you told earlier.
You can do that too, but it's not a very proficient or well, it's not the most efficient way of doing it. So
Okay.
I'm not sure who spoke, but if you already
It's Archana.
okay,
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
if you already got the technique, then undo it and learn this new technique so that you'll know 2 techniques now.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So then, so I have made, I don't know how many, let me check. Okay.
So how many, the rolls is 12 or?
I'm for the demonstration of today, for the today's purpose, I'll be doing just 12, 13. But like I said, for a scarf, since several of you have bought a ball of yarn, you can do about 25 if it is number 4 yarn. Okay. So you'll roll, and then now you know where your yarn is. Hold it, remove it from your needle. And so you have this length of yarn. So give it a little more of a space. And here is where you're going to make a slip knot that we learned. Okay. So I'm going to make a slip knot here, which is, and then insert it onto your needle. So you'll have something like this. You have 2 yarns from your needle. One is a yarn that is a little shorter, and then you have, that's called the short tail yarn, and then you have the running yarn. So you have 2 yarn. How do you show? Like this. Okay. So to cast on the long tail yarn, it's a little tricky, but if you follow along, I'm sure you'll get it. Make this sign, you know, the very good sign, very, whatever you do is very good, right? this you have to make this with your finger. Grab the two, and in between the two yarn, put your pointy and your thumb and do this. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll do that again. In between the two yarns, do this way. Hopefully you all are able to follow. Grab the yarn this way, and then expand the yarn between your pointy and your thumb. And if you have seen a catapult, this is how you hold a catapult, right? I don't know how many of you have used catapult in your childhood, or if there are any kids in the meeting today, in the event today. If you have not seen a catapult is something like this. So if you got this, how you have to proceed is, you have to take your knitting yarn, follow closely what I'm doing, take it through your thumb, and then take it through your pinky, and then put it over the needle and pull through. Okay, it is not easy, but I will show it to you one more time, and several more times. Make a catapult, take it through your thumb, take it through your pointy. The loop that you have on your thumb, put it over your knitting needle and pull through. So far I've made 3 chains. Okay, one more time. I'm taking time to explain long tail cast on is because whoever does the project, I would like you to do the long tail cast on, because it's really very efficient. It is very sturdy. It is very nice. It looks very pretty when you're done than any other cast on that. And this is a personal preference, of course. If you find it difficult, I will go back to the other easy way to do it, and we can do the project from there. So again, it is the 2 fingers, your thumb and your pointy. Put it through in between, expand it, expand the 2 fingers and bring it in the catapult position. Then you go to the thumb from below, put your knitting needle through it, go to your pointy from the other side, bring it out, and then your loop on your thumb, put the loop over the needle and pull through.
Oh, got it.
Got it? Okay. So let's do it one more time, and then I'll pause and check to see if anybody else got it, or how difficult or how easy you thought this is. Again, I will take 2 fingers, put it through in between the 2 strands of the yarn, pull it like this, and take the needle, knitting needle, put it through the thumb, bring it through the pointy, and the loop that you have on your thumb, put it over your needle, and then pull the yarn. One more time. Let me do it slowly. Again, I'm taking through the, let me show it to you slowly. So the 2 fingers, take the 2 fingers in between the 2 strands of the yarn, expand it, and then pull your palm backwards. Take the needle through your thumb, take the needle through your pointy, and then whatever loop you have on your thumb, put it over the needle and pull both yarn. Let me pause here and see if any of you found this easy, found it difficult. If you found it difficult, we can go back to the, in the interest of time, we can go back to the easy cast on, and we can cast on some some change and then proceed. Anybody?
Yeah, it is a little difficult for me. I'm trying to do, but I could not. Sorry.
Okay, then let's go back. Whoever got it, got it. Whoever didn't get it, let's go back to the easy way of doing it, and we can proceed with our project that we have, right? For the easy way of doing, you don't have to leave any big yarn in the beginning. So you make a slip knot. And let's cast on, I'll cast on about 10 to 12.
This one is better, Kalyani.
Which one?
This one is easy actually.
This is easy. I know this is easy. Okay. So you have, I hope all of you or whoever is following has got the chains, a few chains. Let us keep this as a trial learning process. So when you want to do a scarf or any other project, you can cast on any number and you can use the technique that we'll be doing. So the chains that are cast on, you hold that needle in your left, if you're a right-hander, that is. I do not have too much experience knowing what a left-hander would do. So I will just, today's instruction is all right-handed, okay? So the chains, the needle with the chain is on your left hand. The needle that is all free is on your right hand. What you will do is, you will take the second needle and
could not say properly. Thank you.
okay. You will pick up the first chain and go beneath like this. Can you see?
Yes.
And then what you do is hold with your thumb and your pointy so that you have the tension of the two needles in one hand, your pointy and your thumb. Take the yarn, the running yarn, take the yarn and yarn over the needle. Okay, one more time. You're pushing this is called the pearl stitch. I'm teaching you all the pearl stitch. You will put the needle through the chain. You'll make a crisscross. Hold in one hand, you will hold the needles, both the needles in one hand, where you'll hold your thumb and you'll use your thumb and your pointy to hold it. Take the yarn over the empty needle and bring it out such that you make a loop like this and push this chain out of the needle. So you will get something like this. Okay, we'll go through, and this is a pearl stitch. If you got that, you learned today the pearl stitch. So you will repeat that into all of the chains that you have casted on. So you will again go down.
Sorry, I think you have to repeat that, the first one.
I'll repeat it as many times as you need.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is not too easy, but it's not difficult at all. Okay. So what you'll do is you'll take the needle, you'll go down into the chain, you'll make a crisscross, you'll hold both needles in one hand, you'll take the running yarn. What I mean by running yarn is the yarn that is coming out of the ball of yarn, okay? The running yarn, you will yarn over the empty needle, push the needle out so that you get that ring onto the empty needle and remove the chain from the left needle. Again, you will take the knitting needle, the right needle, into the left one. You're making a crisscross, holding both the needles on one hand. You will yarn over and you will push the needle such that you get that yarn, get the chain into the right needle and remove it from the left. Essentially what you're doing, you're actually knitting such that all these chains that is in the left will be transferred to the right, but you will be yarning and transferring it. So you will start seeing the increase in your project. Again, I'm going to take the needle. I will insert it into the chain. I'm making a crisscross. I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to push the needle down so that I get the chain onto the needle. You see, the chain is here on the needle, and I'll remove the chain from the left needle out. Again, I will take the needle, go down. Yarn over. Push the needle down such that I grab a chain onto that and remove the needle from the left.
What happens suppose we have taken the yarn to the loop to the other needle, but forgot to push that loop?
A very good question. It's a very beginner's mistake that I have done many times when I learned knitting. What you have to do is you have to undo your work and redo it again.
Means again, means will come from the first?
Yeah, so I'm guessing this is what you did. You did this, but you didn't remove this, right?
Sometimes.
Yeah, and then you'll go back and keep doing this.
Oh, I could not see your needles because, yeah, now I can.
Okay. So what you essentially did is you did this.
Yes.
You didn't remove this.
Yes.
But then you're going back into that ring and doing again one more, right?
Oh, okay.
So essentially this is another technique called the increase in stitches. So when you have a project where you have 10 stitches, the project is a rectangle, and then you want to increase it, say, this way, because you want to make a triangle scarf. So how do you increase? You actually set it all with the mistake that you made. You learned a new technique called increase in stitches. That's how we increase stitches. So from one ring, you made 2 rings already.
Okay, okay, got it. That is how we increase rings.
Yeah, one of the ways to increase rings is that way.
Okay, and when we are doing this stitch, the yarn should be always on front side or back side.
So this is the pearl. So pearl stitch will always be towards you.
Oh, front.
Front. If you call this the front, then yeah, towards you is the yarn. You're asking very beautiful questions. Is this Archana?
No, this is Santosh.
Santosh. Awesome.
Like,
Santosh. Very beautiful question.
This, yeah, okay. Thank you. And thank you for teaching us also.
Oh, my pleasure.
I love all your knitting models that you have shown to us. I'm very mesmerized.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's very easy. Once you start doing this and learn the technique and you practice and practice and practice, you'll get to all of these. And
somebody should like you should teach us at least to do a scarf or a hat for our children.
Yeah.
Then the purpose of this show will become more realistic way.
See, now I'm guessing that a little bit about the terminology of knitting and the yarn and the technique. There are an umpty number of YouTube videos that you can really see and learn too. So this time is really short for us to do a project.
Oh.
But, the goal was to teach you just the technique so you know it and use this to make all the projects that you have.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll move on for those who probably still didn't get it, and everybody learns in a different pace. So if you didn't get it today, do not worry. There are, like I said, there are a lot of resources available that you can do. Some people just take few minutes to learn. Some people take few months to learn, few days to learn. So everybody learns in a different pace, and nothing is wrong with that. Once you get the technique, it becomes very easy. And so then I'll move on. I'll show you the same thing again. So you will go through the chain. You will yarn over. You will take the ring to the right needle and push the ring out from the left one. I'm a mistake here, so let me fix that. So remember, this is called the pearl stitch. I probably may not have time to do the knit stitch, but it's all available again. The resources are available on the internet, and you can do it. The knit stitch, actually, the thread goes behind. You will, as you see those videos, you will know what I'm talking about. So I took the needle into the chain. I'm yarning over, and I'm pushing this needle out. So I took the ring onto my right, and then you have to make sure that once the ring goes onto your right needle, your left needle ring should come out, so that we maintaining the number of chains that we started with, we maintain that number. So you can watch me do it. I'm inserting, I'm yarning over, I'm removing the stitch, I'm inserting, yarning over, and then pushing the stitch out of the left needle so it goes to the right needle. Made a mistake again. This is the reason why I don't encourage this kind of cast on, because you sometimes will see a big huge gap of yarn in between your chains. That will make the work a little loose, like certain rings will be loose, but on a long tail cast on technique, you will not have that problem. Okay. So we have done with one row, and this is how it will look. Okay, and when you're done with one row, you have two sides to your project. One is the right side and one is the wrong side. If you see, the right side, it has a different design, and the back side has a different design. It may not be too obvious now, but as you progress, you will notice that. But since I'm teaching you only okay. I'm teaching only the pearl stitch today, so we'll go on with the pearl stitch. As you finish your side, you'll again carry on with the same pattern that you learned in the previous one. You will insert your needle into the chain, you will yarn over, you'll push the needle out. So you got the chain onto your empty needle, and make sure to remove this from this needle. So we'll go on. And this is how you start your knitting. I'll slow down again here. I just want to show you how what the pattern and the design will look. For those who still are trying to get the technique, we'll insert the needle into the chain, yarn over, bring the needle out, and remove the chain from your left hand needle. Insert into the chain, and this is a very repetitive pattern. So you get one ring in the right way. That is the same thing that you'll follow for all the rings, or ring or chain, however we call it. I'll pause here and ask if anybody have any question. This is how it'll look at the end of the second row. Okay. Feel free to ask any questions, and feel free to show your work if you can. And I can tell if you where you have gone wrong and how I can help you with it. But otherwise, you can start knitting, have a cup of chai, and enjoy and chit chat with your friends, family, and this is an entire nice project to have. By the end of you spending some time with your friends, or even alone if you do, you'll have a project in the end. I'm not sure how clear my knitting needles are for you all to see what I'm doing. So you'll insert into the chain, you'll yarn over, push this with your thumb, push it down so that you will transfer the chain from the left to the right and remove it from the left. And normally what we do, one thing I forgot to mention at the beginning, we have this straight needles for knitting. We also have something called a circular needle. I'm not sure how many of you have seen this. Now, circular needles are actually two needles, and you have a wire that is attached to the needles. Now, where the circular needles are used is, it is used in hats, infinity scarves, any sweater where you don't find a seam. So you will be knitting in circles, like a hat, for example. You will be knitting in circles. You will not get that seam. And by seam, what I mean is a joint that joins two sides, right? In the straight needles, if you knit, you will invariably get to a point where you have that seams. But in circular needle, you can achieve a project where there are no seams. I know we are at the top of the hour. If you have any questions or if you have time, we can still proceed doing knitting. Madhavi, Venkat, I will let you guys decide how we need to proceed.
Is there anything we can show quickly, Andy? Otherwise, we can.
Yeah, the stitch that I showed you just now is actually, if you continue doing it, you will find it will be like this. You see the pattern? This is how you'll find when you do it. And I normally, when I make scarves, I don't keep it for myself. I just give it away. I had only this scarf left because this was my first project after a very, very long time when my girls were little, and I kept this. The pattern is not what I'm trying to say is the pattern is not all that very clear because it has multiple colors. But if you look closely, you will find all these are pearl stitches. Pearl stitch is what we learned today. And this is actually the pearl stitch. So when you practice and master that technique, you will end up with something like this. So you have any of you have any questions? I will be very happy to answer them.
Audience, you can unmute and ask, or use the chat to ask the question if you want.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yeah.
How do you join another color to, to look beautiful? That's
Yeah. I wish we had a lot of time. There are so many things in knitting that are so awesome. I will show you real quick how to join. And you will join only when you end. Well, you'll join in the middle too, but as a beginner, I will show you how you can join. There are various ways. Let me take another yarn from here. What you can do is, you see this first, let me see if you can see it. If you see this first chain,
Yep.
you can make a knot into that first chain.
Mhm.
Okay, this is the simplest and the easiest way to do it. So you have a knot and you have I took a yellow yarn. So what I do is when I do the next row, I will leave the peach yarn out. I will not touch it. I will not use it. I will continue with the same pattern that I showed you, the pearl stitch, but instead I will use my yellow yarn. So I will yarn over. Yarn over with your yellow yarn.
Mhm.
And then transfer the rings. Let me quickly do this. The same technique, but you'll use your yellow yarn. So this is how you change. The most simplest way to change yarns is this.
Nice, wonderful.
This is how you will change. Probably it will show more when you do another. And when you transfer, what I would like to do is, if I'm not going to use this peach yarn, I'm going to cut it so that it doesn't come into the way, right? I am sorry. I'm so sorry. Let's see if I can fix my. Sorry for that little mishap there. Can you see it now? I think you can see it, right? Okay. So now you have the two colors. What you can do is continue the same pattern. Now, are you able to see the progress here?
Yeah.
Kalavani, wonderful, very nice.
Yeah, nice.
Right now.
So this is how you change colors.
Yeah.
And make sure your yarn is secure and it is not lying loose. So when you change colors, it should not just get ripped off later on. And then all these yarns that are left out, you'll have to weave it inside your project so that it is all nice and neat, and the threads are not hanging and things like that. That's another technique of learning as you advance through this process of knitting. Any other questions any of you have?
Yeah, your projects are really good. Can you make some videos so when you're doing that project, so we can do it later?
I have some videos. Probably I should share them. I'm not sure how to share it. Probably Venkat or Madhvi can help me. And I can give it to them and they probably can share it to you all.
Okay.
I'm very amateur in making videos because this is actually only a hobby, but I love technology too. I would love to call myself tech savvy, but technology is such a vast area. But I'm very amateur in making videos, but I've made some to help a few of my friends and family to learn. So I
Yeah.
can share them.
Yeah,
So
if they
Kalai,
are on YouTube, so that it will be more helpful.
Yeah, I have a very amateur again kind of YouTube channel. And it's not a channel. I just upload it to YouTube because there is a limitation on WhatsApp on the size of the video file that you can share. You can share only 6 minutes of the video, so it's easy to upload it to YouTube and share that link. And
Yeah.
I have,
And that will be helpful.
sure.
so Kalai, if anyone is interested, do you wish to give classes for them?
Yeah, I don't do it in any professional way, but we have like I mentioned in the beginning, at People's Impact Network, we have this education group, right? And we are planning for a knitting class. Now, a crochet class has started, which I started teaching. It just started yesterday. But there is a knitting class which we plan to have sometime in April, which will start. I can let you know that is the only thing that I do, but otherwise professionally I don't teach. But I love teaching as a volunteer. So anytime, probably during summer, because sometimes with work it gets a little hectic and little busy, as you all know. So probably during summer we can do something. And what I did not actually, I forgot to mention this, and this is very interesting, is we have seen yarn that is made of various types of fur, right? There is also yarn made of cotton, which I thought I should mention, because during summer, when you want to make clothes, when you want to make tops or tank tops, cotton yarn is the best to make, so that it doesn't get too heated up, and it's good for the weather. So we can do something like that too. Or we can also do wool sweater, so you're ready for the next winter. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Kalavani. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining with us. Maybe
Yeah, thank you, Kalai. Thank you for joining. And on behalf of all TAGC Board of Directors, thank you so much for joining and giving your yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity. It was very nice meeting with you all. And the questions that were asked by Santosh, Archana, all that is very appreciated. Really enjoyed it.
Beautiful.
Kalavani. Thank you, everyone. Hope enjoyed everyone this event. Thank you so much for joining with us.
Thank you.
My Kalavani.
Oh, that is so pretty. Venkat,
Madhavi, you did good, Madhavi. I don't want to show mine.
No, I think if you wish, you can post it on the Facebook comments.
yes, it is so beautiful. You've done
Oh, wow.
it. Very, very, very nice. I saw that, and your yarn color is very beautiful, Madhavi. And there is Sumati also. Yeah, very beautiful. That is the scarf in that is, it's one of my favorite colors. Scarf is very beautiful. Did I see
Oh, wow, nice.
One of my friend did this.
so pretty? I can yeah, there. I'm seeing Santosh now. Santosh, very beautiful. You got it. That is the
Yeah.
pearl stitch. And
Thank
if you
you.
continue, you can make a very nice scarf, and you have to actually at the edges, you know, this kind, if you can see, tassels. You should, if you
Oh.
add, I'll send you a video if you I'll send you the link. It's very easy.
Thank you.
That way,
Sumati
that
also.
way that will be nice. Who else want to show their Venkat and Madhvi, if you don't mind? I would love to see the what people made.
If you turn on the video, you'll come into spotlight. So if anyone wants to show, please turn on your videos.
Yeah, I think you can show your.
I think if you speak on the speaker view, probably you will be on the spotlight. I can see Santosh. Santosh is very nice.
Thank you.
Finally,
This all happened because of your valuable teaching.
Oh, there you go, Sumati. Very, very nice. You mastered the pearl stitch,
Wow, thank
and I
you.
love color of it.
Yeah.
Chala bagundi.
Thank you so much.
we started with 2 colors, blue and.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I see that. Uma's
Yeah, she's my friend Madhvi.
Madhvi. Madhvi, you did it with 2 colors, and you're a fast learner. Very nice.
I think we can post the pictures on Facebook too.
Yeah,
Whoever I've done.
whoever did it. I'm so proud of you all.
Thank you, Shalyavani, for your valuable time with us.
Thank you, Madhvi.
We enjoyed it.
Thank you everyone for
Long time.
Nice.
Yeah. And one more last question, Kalaya. Thank you so much. And we are looking forward for your video
Okay,
Yeah.
posting on a group so that we too can learn more techniques.
absolutely.